something going wrong, trying to get over that, but then deciding that maybe a break is what needs to happen here. Because I don't think that for you, you may be seeing a lot of potential moving forward with this or with this person. So with judgment being the overall here. I mean, absolutely, you need to make sure that you're making an accurate assessment of what you are dealing with, what you have been through, and, what you need to kind of let go of in order to move on. That may specifically have to do with this person, though, here. The Ten of Swords coming in, we're definitely talking about you going through a painful ending. And with the Magician on their side, I look at that and I think that if we're talking about, you having a painful ending specifically with this person and you still being focused on them, then with the Magician, it could absolutely be because they manipulated you or manipulated a situation that caused the ending to be very difficult for you. But then in the same hand, though, I also feel like with the Magician, it's like they feel like they have the ability to continue to make something happen with you, even though the things went very bad in the past. Now, moving out of that, though, with the Empress and then looking at the Six of Swords, I think that they're expecting you to move on like they have. But I don't think that they're accurately looking at anything. I mean, clearly here with the Moon being there. But for you, it's about really, letting this be done and over with once and for all. Looking at judgment. But you're being forced to have to look at it again because it's being brought back up. Sorry, guys. But with the Empress, if we're talking about, this being you, you may have been very, very giving of yourself. And I think that, this person may be trying to play on that part of you. Now, on the other hand, if we're talking about another person being involved, then absolutely they're expecting you to look away. But I don't know. I look at that as how you're kind of like looking at the relationship here. I don't think that you really have anything else that you could possibly give this person, though you may still have feelings and compassion for them. But, they're like just leaving it and not really dealing with it, though, but they're expecting you to kind of do the same thing, looking at the Six of Swords. Now, moving out of that, you showing the Six of Cups says that you're continuously going back to the past. And I think that at one point they think that you're wanting to move forward, that you're willing to kind of look past what may have happened, what they may have done, the situation that they may have manipulated. And believe me, I wouldn't be saying that had you not come in with the Ten of Swords. But I really see that Empress as you. You giving and being nurturing and caring and understanding at every turn, but this time I don't think that you can. And with the Moon on their side, it's like they're not getting it because they're not understanding, because they're not being realistic. They're living in the illusion that what they did didn't matter, but it does in a really big way for you. And I really think that this is about, I can't do this again. I don't want to go through this again. The past is always going to be an issue in terms of being involved with this person. So if you need to lay it to rest, like I said, it may be that, there's going to need to be a break at least. Now, with the Seven of Pentacles coming out here, this is definitely you kind of like reevaluating things on whether or not there's still the potential for growth in the relationship, but clearly not being happy with what you had in the past and what you have to show for all of what you have given to this. Now, with the Sun, everything becomes clear. Everything becomes clear. they can no longer hide. They can't hide who they are. They can't hide what they have done. And with the Four of Swords, this is the cutoff in communication, the silence, the needing to take a step back, separate, reflect on things. But they're the ones that I think that are experiencing the silence. For you, if it's them shutting down and not saying anything because you're not really letting go of anything right now, for you, it's like looking at it and going, then how is there any potential for growth? The Five of Swords, the Hangman. Ooh, no, Cap, I'm telling you. And again, it's a general message. You will know if this is your situation because this is about somebody who is wanting you to look past what they have done. Okay, there's already been a difficult ending. If this was something separate from this person, we wouldn't be looking at judgment as the overall. I'm telling you. This is one of those situations where I can't give this person the benefit of the doubt. And I'm not going to tell you that this is something that you should hang in there for. I really think that you're going to have to take a serious look at this because with the Devil being there, there is nothing here indicating that this person is willing to get over their negative aspects, their demons, so to speak. This is a bad thing for you. It is not a good thing for you. And I'm just being honest here. And again, you will know if this is for you. Now, first of all, the Ace of Cups and then looking at the Five of Swords. This is, there could be a potential for a new beginning here, but I think it's been, like, I don't want to say forced on you, but I look at the Five of Swords and I think that this is somebody who is trying to, devalue the way that you are seeing what you have experienced with this person. Like you're not the one you're not thinking right. You're the one that's seeing things from the past. You keep hanging on to the past. But they're not being realistic about what they've actually done to you because the Ten of Swords is very telling, especially considering the fact that you're being asked to let it go. But for you, it's in a much bigger way where it's done, it's over with. I need to take a minute here. I need to take a time out. There is no point in having any further communication. Holy crap. All right. And then coming out of that with the Knight of Cups and the Hangman, the thing is that, you're dealing with somebody who is definitely doing what they feel in the moment. They're not really thinking about the long term. This is about what is coming at you. And I don't doubt that there's still, emotions here. But they don't even understand what it is they're feeling. But they're still coming at you. They're still wanting, this chance for a new beginning. But you're not seeing things the way that they want you to see them. Especially with the Sun being there and looking at the Five of Swords. And they're treating you badly. And then with the Hangman here, it's like they're probably waiting on you and not really knowing what to do because there's nothing they can really do to kind of correct what they have done, or at least they don't think there is. When, it would have been better had justice showed up because it would have been like accountability, but the thing is they don't see that at all. But what I worry about here is with the Page of Pentacles, this with the Seven of Pentacles would suggest that despite the fact that they clearly have some issues. You see it for what it is. They're treating you badly. They're not really wanting to do anything to move forward here. Or at least they're not doing anything about the negative things that they're attached to. It's like you still see the opportunity here because there still are, emotions for you, which is understandable. But with the Page of Pentacles, we're talking about wanting to start over, but we're also talking about whether or not this person can be depended on, but with the Devil being there, that's not going to happen. That just is not going to happen. And I'm just being honest here. I'm not the type of person that likes to create drama that's not there. But there is clearly something wrong with the person that you are focused on and what you are dealing with. And again, general, it's going to be for those of you, like I said, who have specifically gone through a very difficult ending with this person. But they think that they can manipulate you into believing that what they did in the past was not as bad as you're perceiving it to be. But that is the reality for you. it's not realistic for them. They're not seeing it accurately. Like, they have no clue how bad it was for you. Looking at the Ten of Swords. Jeez, man, Cap. If this is your situation, and this is just my advice looking at all of this, don't do it. Don't do it. See it for what it is, right? You deserve happiness. You deserve to be happy. And I also feel like there is something trying to protect you from this. I understand if there are feelings and there are emotions that are tied into this, because the Six of Cups does, show that there are at least some good memories. But if you're continuing to reflect on a painful past, that is something that you need to take into consideration when dealing with, possibly wanting to start over with this person. I have issues with the fact that it says that this could be the one, because that to me would suggest here that despite what you're dealing with, that this person is still the one that, you are meant to continue to seek out. But I have a problem with that. But, we'll clarify here, but let's just get into this. The Wheel of Fortune and the Lovers, okay? We're talking about dealing with a person who cannot make a choice between you and another person. That's kind of how I see the Lovers. Knowing the right choice, but then, constantly being tempted somewhere else. But with the Wheel of Fortune here, we're also talking about things that are changing, things that are supposed to be changing in a way that, is in your favor here. Things changing for the positive in your relationship. The problem, though, is that things may be changing, but with the Tower, we're talking about lies, deception, cheating, jealousy, and then you have the Hermit. That is basically saying that it's almost like I look at this and I feel like this about this person. That there's potential for the same thing to happen again, because, we could be looking at the Wheel of Fortune much differently here. But with the Hermit, it's like looking at it and going, this is not what I wanted. This is what I want. I want that kind of connection. How do I make this happen? Despite the fact that you may be dealing with a situation where somebody may be involved somewhere else, you may be waiting for things to kind of work out for you where they finally make a choice to be with you. But unfortunately, there's still the temptation that's involved with the Lovers, that or they are just having a really hard time, getting out of a relationship that clearly they shouldn't be in if they are wanting to have something somewhere else. And with the Hermit, I look at that as, you're wanting to have more than this kind of a connection. The thing is, though, is you move out of this with the Ten of Wands. And the Ten of Wands I kind of look at as two people who are like looking to, relieve the burden, relieve the pressure, and not really caring about anything else. So despite the fact that it's not exactly what you want it to be, you'll take it for what it is. Okay? And I hate putting it that way. And with the King of Swords, again, it's not about emotions. This is somebody who is not taking your emotions into consideration here. And this is what gets me, because I look at the Chariot and I think this person is not giving you everything that, you are wanting, you are seeing, and that you want to make happen. But yet they're wanting to get kind of control over where you are headed in the relationship. But I think that for you, you're kind of looking at it like, it could go this way or it could go that way. It's really dependent on them. But the Chariot would suggest that this is about somebody who's kind of wanting to get things back on track with you, because there is still this like connection here. Like, I can't explain it. There are so many difficult things surrounding this situation, but it's like where they're not really showing an emotional side, there may be this part of them that really wants to, get control over what is going on here with you. Now, The King of Pentacles. This is somebody who is being a little bit pushy, a little bit dominant. You know, we could be talking about you dealing with another earth sign, or this could be about you, male, female. But what is being projected out is somebody who is like trying to push for something. They're pushing for something to happen. But at the same time, it's like with the Lovers, you know, there's another situation that has to be taken care of. And the reason why there's a connection with you is because they're not happy where they're at. With the Four of Cups, you're talking about a relationship that has grown stagnant. Or grown stagnant. My God, I need to slow down and talk right. Anyway, this is about falling into a routine, but you're also following, oh my God, falling into a routine with this person. Yeah, I need to take a breath here. Jesus Christ. Cap, you've got all of this stuff like hitting me hard. All right, let me take a sip of coffee here. It's probably a bad idea, but all right. This is not exactly what you had expected or what you wanted. But the thing is there's a connection that cannot be explained. This is the person that, you know, you are finding here. This is the person that you are seeking. And it's what's being brought to you based on, you know, what you're looking for in terms of a relationship. And that's not to say that what you're wanting are the circumstances that are difficult that are surrounding this. But somebody is going to surprise you. That's what I want to tell you. Somebody is going to surprise you and be like, okay, where are we going? What are we doing here? Man, oh man, I don't know who in the hell you are dealing with. And again, this is only going to be for some of you. For those of you who feel like things are going well and you're happy in your relationship, this is not for you. It is not for you. Enjoy that. But the Capricorns that I'm talking to that are dealing with somebody who is just really crappy, you know, you deserve so much better than this. You do. Oh my goodness. All right. So you're needing to love yourself first here. And you're going to have to get over your feelings of not being good enough, but that may be because of what somebody has put on you. The Queen of Swords. That is definitely you, I feel like here. But you're kind of like keeping to yourself that you don't feel like you're good enough. That's how I see this. Somebody is definitely needing to apologize to you for the way that they have treated you, because I look at the Queen of Swords and I think of somebody who is focused on a partner who has done them wrong, because I almost see that as the Three of Swords, right? She's cold, she's shut off, she's a little bit bitter because her partner did something stupid. And with the Five of Cups, they are trying to make amends for that. But with the High Priestess, this is you feeling like there's something else that is intuitively like pulling on you here. But it's going to be directly related to feelings of inadequacy. With the Five of Swords, that is what that is about. Specifically dealing with needing to overcome feelings of not being good enough. Now that may be what you are keeping to yourself. But, you know, I look at that and I think that it's because of that. With the Four of Pentacles coming out here, things don't really get going in the direction that they're supposed to go. Because you're talking about somebody who's trying to get the passion going, but it may not be enough. But with the Moon being there, we're talking about not seeing things realistically. And then the Seven of Cups. So somebody is definitely fantasizing about, you know, how things could be, but they're not real. It's not really happening. You know, there is somebody who's definitely trying here, but I think that what's more important is that you have respect for yourself, despite the fact that you're dealing with somebody who you've been extremely patient with here, looking at Temperance, who has made you feel inadequate. With the Two of Pentacles, you're talking about somebody who is too embarrassed to approach another person, and it's about something that is being kept about feeling not good enough. You don't feel like you can talk to this person about, look, this is how you made me feel. they're definitely trying to kind of fix that, but things are not exactly living up to the fantasy right now. Now, that doesn't mean that this is the end of a relationship, but I don't like the fact that you're dealing with somebody who made you feel this way. So it is going to be more important for you to, find love for yourself first before anything can actually live up to the fantasy here, and start to become a little bit more realistic and have a little bit more caring, understanding, and passion coming out.